Dope, 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 let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick, I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Yo, bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some wrestlers.
As the two in red continue to walk into the gym, the taller one takes the game away from the other. Come on, Kenma. Give it a rest. We need you to focus. Just give it back really quick, Kuro. I just need to beat a couple more levels. Oh yeah? A couple more? Then what time did you go to bed last night? Let me think. You idiot. I know you didn't get any sleep. I could hear you playing in the morning when I went for my jog. Anyway, you better be ready for this match. Nekoma would go on to win the match against their opponents with ease. As we went back to Karasuno, as they were training harder and harder under their new coach, Hinata himself seemed to be enjoying this the most. Kageyama would shout out for a pass, but Hinata instead gives the ball to Suki. Suki watches the ball float into the sky as he gets annoyed. Why does it seem that every time I get relaxed on the court, you take me out of my comfort zone? Suki jumps into the air and spikes it down as he looks back at Hinata, who had a slight grin on his face. It's because you can only grow when you struggle. Their training continued on until their match would arrive. They line up and greet the Nekoma players, and as they did their greetings, Hinata stared down at Kenma. So it looks like we finally meet again. Kenma ignores this and tells them that he won't lose this time. As he walks away, Ukai questions Hinata. Kenma and I are sort of rivals in a way, as we played together when we were younger. But after I became the starting setter, he just stopped showing up to practices. It makes sense though. Why show up if you can no longer improve with that team? The team set up their formations and got ready to play. Karasuno receives the ball from a serve and instantly goes into an attack formation. Hinata looks towards the ball, and the Nekoma blockers would get ready. As the ball gets closer and closer, Hinata turns his whole body and spikes it down to score the first point. Nekoma was in shock, but Kenma only stared at Hinata through the net. Kuro then pat his back. So, how do we deal with him? Kenma would try to think of a weakness for Hinata, and he remembers one thing that he wasn't the best at. Let's give this a try. Karasuno serves the ball over to Nekoma, where Kuro gets a perfect pass to Kenma. Hinata watches his movements slowly, and he takes note of the way he breathes and how his fingers adjust to the way that the ball is coming down, as Hinata quickly moves to the middle as it's set to Yamamoto. The two-man wall of Hinata and Suki are just enough to get a one-touch on the ball, as Noya digs it up for Hinata, who does a freak quick attack with Kageyama, giving the Nekoma blockers no time to even set up a defense, as Karasuno was up an early 2 points, and they seem to have no flaws in their game plan. This domination went on for the rest of the set, as Karasuno would win it. Nekoma would sit down trying to figure out a plan for Karasuno's setter, but they wouldn't be able to find one. Meanwhile, Karasuno wanted to try some new formations. Ukai gets their attention. Alright, you guys are doing great, so let's have a little more fun here. Hinata, I'm going to sub you out and switch you out with Suga. Noya, you're switching with Tanaka. Let's see what this offensive formation can do. They then go back on the court, and Hinata sits down and he stares on intensely at his team. Ukai sits next to him, but before he could speak, Hinata turned to him. Glad you subbed me out for Suga. He needs some more experience, and putting him as a setter with an all-out attack formation might be perfect for him. Although if this doesn't work, I have another plan we can try as well. Karasuno goes back and forth with Nekoma until the score was 12-10, and before the serve was made, Hinata subbed in for Daichi. This confused the players of Karasuno since they have two setters on the floor right now. Nekoma serves it over, and Tanaka gets the pass to Suga, and as he jumps, he thinks about who to set it to. So far, nothing has truly worked, so who should I pass it to? This is when Suga noticed and made eye contact with Hinata, who was waiting for the ball. Without a second thought, He sends it to the left where Hinata was. As the ball floats in the air, Hinata gets serious and jumps to meet the ball at his peak height. As he slams it down, he scores a break point. Kenma then turns back and looks through the net. Don't tell me you thought my weakness was my stamina, and that's why I was subbed out. I've trained past that. In fact, you might say that my stamina might be one of my greatest weapons, because I feel like I could jump that high all day. Kuro would then step in front of Kenma and look down at Hinata. Is that so? Well, then I'll just have to keep jumping all day with you to keep blocking you. Hinata looks at the captain of Nekoma. I accept this challenge. The next play, Karasuno serves it, and the libero for Nekoma gets the ball up. Kenma gets the ball to Yamamoto once again, as their second year is able to get the ball past the blockers. However, Hinata gets a perfect dig on the ball to Suga, who passes it to Kageyama. The first year secures the point, as Nekoma seems to have no answers. Even though they prioritize defense and counterattacks, Karasuno still walks away with the win. After the match, Karasuno circles around their coach, who focuses on Hinata. You surprised me and your team today. How long have you been able to spike like that? For as long as I've been playing volleyball, of course. I know how to play every position. I just favor playing setter the most. When Karasuno returns home, their practices continue on, but Ukai was flipping through a magazine. Shira Torizawa. They're going to be a tough team to beat because of him. Hinata and Kageyama overhear this and walk over to see who their coach was talking about. Hinata then looks down at the magazine and sees Ushijima. You're right, coach. He's going to be pretty hard to beat. I should know because I've set for him before. Hinata then tells them that because he was so skilled, he was allowed to sometimes attend and play with the older kids in his club. One of those players that he set for was Ushijima. Hinata then continues on. He asked me to come attend his school and become his official setter, but I chose to come to Karasuno. I can only remember one thing about him. No matter what set he's given, no matter if it's good, poor, or an average set, he will give the best spikes possible. Nothing can truly stop his momentum. If he wants to score, he will. Ukai then gets a creepy flash of what Shira Torizawa would be like if Hinata actually went there. For the next couple of days, Karasuno keeps training and studying their future opponents until the day of the tournament would finally arrive. Their first match will be against Tokonami High. Out the gates, Karasuno jumps into a lead with their starters and wins the first set 25-7. When the second set starts, Hinata subs out and heads to the bathroom. Itetsu is told by Ukai to follow him to make sure that he's alright. When Hinata stands in the hallway, a man would appear. Itetsu hides around a corner and listens to their conversation. I see that your team is winning. Hopefully they can keep that up or else. Yes, I know, father. You don't have to tell me. I know what's at stake. But how is she? She's stable. She's speaking a lot more now. She often requests to see you play. Hinata then is seen with tears rolling down his face. She'll get to see me play soon. She'll be able to watch me when it's broadcasted across all Japan when I make it to the finals. The man then looks down at Hinata with disgust. There you go again with your outlandish goals and ideals. You truly are her son more than mine. Just make sure you win. Yes, father. The man walks away and Hinata slams his fist into the wall, which causes his knuckles to start bleeding. You can come out, Itetsu. I know you're there. The assistant coach walks out and he decides to ask, is that man truly your father? Yes, he is, sadly. And all he cares about is me winning. I'm only allowed to play if I win. Success is the only option within my family. What happens if you lose? Then I will no longer be able to play for Karasuno High. Hinata walks away and goes to get his hand wrapped up. He returns to the court to see his team winning the second set without him. They'll move on to the second round against Daidakujo High. They go to their same formation in the match with the starters. Hinata serves to Daichi, who is blocked by the 3-man wall. Luckily, Noya gets the ball back up, and Hinata is able to perform a quick attack with Kageyama. Karasuno starts to celebrate, but Hinata reminded them that they have to win first. They would go back and forth with their opponents until the score was 20-21, with Karasuno losing. On the next serve, they barely get it because it's roughly received, causing their formation to break. Hinata is forced to run to the other side of the net, where everyone thinks he's just gonna bump it back to the other side for one of his players to spike it. But what surprises everyone watching is him setting it from the sidelines. The ball floats slowly towards the ace of Karasuno, who jumps against the iron wall. They block the spike, but again, the Guardian is there, and Noya is there to pick up the pieces, hitting it up once again. As this time, Hinata runs back, as he gets there just in time to serve it to Daichi. He tries to spike it down, but the 3-man wall shuts him down. The iron wall was truly formidable. Kageyama is able to keep the ball up, and Hinata jumps to set. This time, he dumps the ball and scores the break point. If none of you will score, then I'll just do it myself. Hinata's eyes almost appear to be glowing as he finally enters the zone. The next play, it's his serve as well. Hinata tosses the ball high, and instead of watching the ball, he stares at his opponents, which confuses them. He slams the ball down as he gets a service ace. As he continues to do so until Karasuno wins the first set, meaning he performed 4 service aces in a row. During the break into the second set, he asked for Suga to be subbed in, and Ukai wondered if Hinata wanted to break, but he wanted to play with 2 setters in the game once again. Ukai wasn't sure if it would work this time, but Hinata states that they will have to in order to win. Ukai allows it and subs Suga and for Daichi. The second set starts as is Karasuno's serve, and they allow Yamaguchi to serve as he would score 3 points for them before being subbed out. Karasuno receives the next serve, and now they could either Hinata or Suga could set it, but he leaves it for Suga. And he gives the ball to Asahi, who manages to get by the block, but his opponents get a dig on the ball. They return the ball with a powerful spike, but Suki gets a 1-touch on it, which allows Noya to get a great pass to Suga. Hinata then begins running towards the net. As Suga sets it to him, the iron wall arises, and Hinata hits the ball directly into their hands. But this spike was different. He hit it so hard that it caused one of the players and the iron wall to be broken as their player fell to the ground. Karasuno scores that point, and Hinata stares down at Kamasaki. The iron wall is no more, he would say. As the set continued on, it was clear that Hinata would be the deciding factor in the win for Karasuno with only 2 sets. The next day, a match between Aoba Josai and Karasuno would commence. Oikawa and Hinata shake hands as the captains while they wish each other good luck.